ConsuLab, we're passionate about automotive technology and how it works and how it's taught. And I think really what we're best at is targeting areas where teaching and learning is difficult and trying to find these intuitive solutions to speed up the learning process and also to help teachers evaluate student competencies. Electric vehicles fall into this area of technology where help is needed. I think it was best that we team up with real experts from all EV to help guide us with regards to what's really happening in industry, what's happening on the shop floor with regards to EV issues, and understand EV training that has to go on. So EV is a clear direction that we have to take. It's not going to be all of our products, but it is such an important technology change that's going on right now that we have to help you guys, the instructors, with regards to teaching it safely, efficiently, and making sure that the techs coming out of your institutions really have the abilities necessary to be able to work in industry.
The idea of EVs, whether an instructor or an individual likes it or not, it is being developed at a fast pace. Each instructor has to decide if he or she is going to embrace that technology and pass it on to their students, or do they reject it? I don't think rejecting it is an option. I think you have to start presenting the ideas and concepts of EVs to your students and get them prepared as much as you can for employment involvement in the industry, which is going to be huge. Depending on your resources and the facilities in your shop, you can do it a little bit or you can do a lot of it. Certainly there's a ton of information on the internet about EVs. You can just gather all of the things you want, videos, but at one point or another, you should start involving your students with the instruction and technology that EVs represent.
I think in the old day, when, let's say in my old day, when I grew up, there was a certain adrenaline that came with power, driving a car that had power. Nowadays, the electric vehicles have kind of put to shame some of the old internal combustion engines. I don't think young people have the passion that is instilled in me from growing up with muscle cars, so to speak. And so everything is electric with them. And I think when they see it harnessed into a car and in transportation, and the amount of just adrenaline that you can feel from being driven by pure electricity, that interests them probably more actually than some of us older guys, because we do have the legacy of liking horsepower and a noise. So driving them to an EV car is probably going to be easier, or an interest in EV cars is probably going to be a lot easier than we think, because they kind of live in that realm. They were grown up, they grew up in that era, and it's talking to them more than it probably does us.
There's no real simple answer to where should you start or what should you be teaching in EV, because a lot of it is based on what level you're at. For instance, at the high school level, I think it would be very, very valuable to start students out and make sure that they understand the difference between a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and a full EV. And start with that, and maybe, depending on the number of hours you have, that may be as far as you go. Now, as we get into a community college or a trade center, well, then we have to look at more. And one of the places that I think really is we don't do enough is in the area of communication. So the communication within the vehicle, or CAN bus, for lack of a better word, can be taught. And it is probably the only thing that transposes or goes between a gas-powered vehicle and an electric vehicle. So if you teach CAN bus and you teach it on an EV, or you teach it on a gas-powered vehicle, it's going to be basically the same thing. So I think that's the best place to start. Basics, basics, basics.
No, incorporating EV instruction into your classroom is not too early. It's almost too late. You are teaching electrical basics with Ohm's law and many other trainers for student understanding. So it's just a continuation of your electrical programs as they have been running. So it's not too early.
I think the ability to demonstrate what is actually going on within the system by having the LEDs demonstrate coolant flow, electrical flow, the different types of current flow, where do we have DC current, where do we have AC current, and the way it can be a pure demonstration of how the EV actually works.
Why is this product based off of a Tesla? You know, there's a real wow factor there. And I think it draws everyone in. It draws the students in with regards to learning and their desire to be working on this technology that is viewed as being at the forefront with Tesla. It's also a tremendous showcase for all of the institutions to use with regards to recruiting and showing parents the technology that the schools are using in their training. All right, well, let's move into the lab. We'll have a look at our very first EV dedicated product that we're so anxious to show you.
Have you ever wondered how to give your students hands-on exploration of a complete electrical vehicle in a safe environment? This was our guiding thought in developing this new EV601 electrical vehicle trainer. All major components are identified in their actual location. Most have been exposed in a way that is not possible on an operating vehicle. This helps attain a better understanding of their internal components and workings. Electrical and thermal energy are managed and displayed throughout the vehicle according to the various real-life scenarios that can be created on the main interface screen. Additionally, voltmeters and ammeters are located at several key components to illustrate the impact of each scenario on the electrical system. To maximize safety, there is no DC high voltage present on this trainer. Paths of electrical energy and coolant are identified with LED strips, which also indicate flow direction. For example, during a charge, electricity flows from the charge port to the battery. The type of electricity, AC or DC, is indicated by the LED strip animation, and the meters present at the charging port show voltage and amperage depending on the charge level selected on screen. Another example is the case where the HV battery is too cold. The drive motor and inverter create heat, which is transferred to the battery through the coolant circuits. If during this time the first responder loop is interrupted, all high voltage is immediately removed from the vehicle and isolated inside the battery, leaving only 12 volt DC present in the vehicle. Connection points of some high voltage components have been made readily accessible to allow real-life high voltage resistance testing to be performed, following the recommended procedures and use of required safety equipment. Since this vehicle has no emissions, a scan tool cannot be used on it. However, we have integrated an OBD2 port to which we can connect and view various vehicle data with the Scan My Tesla application. Overall, this trainer provides a safe, total approach learning experience to electrical vehicles and their related safety procedures, instruments, and equipment.
The goal we had in mind for this product was to tear away all the complexity of an electric vehicle and let the students and teachers touch, feel, and see the guts of it. Students can see and interact with every single high voltage component. And they can see that it's not that complicated and establish their confidence in working on electric vehicles. The product allows teachers to demonstrate system functions in modes that are unattainable with just a car. We can show a road test, regenerative braking, and acceleration, all while being able to access and view the flow of power in the system. Show your students what each charge mode, each drive mode, and each thermal management system can do, all in an accessible and safe way. We can remove and replace the battery, do isolation testing, and show all the 12-volt systems are fully functional. The product has a certain draw and magnetism to it. No matter who walks by and sees it, they want to know more, they want to learn more, and they want to spend time looking at and interacting with the product. With each step, they can see more and comprehend more. We go into great detail in providing access and demonstrating the functions of all the components in the penthouse, the contactors, the battery management system, and the DC-DC converter. It's all right there out in the open. We're convinced that your current and future students will be enamored with and learn so much from this training. And while the product is based on a Tesla Model 3 platform, the concepts are generic in nature, and the knowledge gained can be transferred to other platforms. If I was a teacher developing an EV program, I would want this product front and center, and we would all be around it with all the students on the very first day of class.
I'm really proud of all the work that our team has put in towards this really intuitive solution for learning EVs. I hope you've gotten a real feel for how it's going to engage your students and help your program, and we look forward to showing you more in the future. Thank you for being with us.